Progress, not perfection. You know, it's okay to struggle. In fact, struggle comes before growth. Sometimes we want to focus on getting things perfect rather than just focusing on getting better, on progressing, being a little bit better today than we were yesterday, a little bit better on this jump than we were on the last jump. Our culture and media all around us tells us constantly that everything should be easy, that it should be convenient, that it should be comfortable and quick. And if it's not, then something's wrong. And you know what? That is just not true. That's not true. It is okay to struggle. Struggle comes before growth. Some of the best things in life take effort, they take struggle, they take hard work, and they take time. That's part of what gives them value. If something comes really, really easy, if you don't have to work for it, then it's not that valuable. But if you have to work hard for something, if you have to work and struggle to get there, to accomplish it, then it's so much more valuable, it's so much more better. And you know what? It's okay if learning new skills isn't easy for you. Actually, that's pretty normal. And it's even good. Because you know what that means? If it's hard for you and you're still doing it, that means that you're pushing yourself beyond where you are. It means that you're increasing your skills, it means you're increasing your abilities, and it means that you're growing. And that's an awesome thing, that's a good thing. It doesn't have to be easy. Just because something's hard doesn't mean it's wrong. If you were only doing easy things, then you'd never grow, you'd never progress. You'd never be more than you were previously. If you only do what you're able to do, then you'll never be more than you are right now. Let me say that again. If you only do what you're able to do, then you will never be more than you are right now. It is okay to struggle. And in our progression in skydiving, we're trying to improve our skills. We're trying to learn new things, learn new techniques, or learn a new discipline. It's hard, and it's going to be a struggle, and that's okay. That's even good. I want you to, I've said this in other videos, but think about the limited amount of time that you've actually put into working on any given skydiving skill. Like think about that for a minute. If you've done 100 jumps working on one particular skill or discipline, at the very most, that's 100 minutes. That's not even 2 hours. That's an hour and 40 minutes of working on something. That is not very long. So what I wanted to do is I want to go over a few practical things that I think you can do to aid your progression and your skill development. Okay, now this is not meant to be like some kind of comprehensive list or a 10 commandments of progression, of skill development. That is not what this is. Really, these are just a few practical things that I've learned, that I've used, that have really helped me in my own progression and in my own development, both mentally and pragmatically, like practical things that I think you can do that will help you. The first is what we already talked about, just the mental reframing of how you view struggle and difficulty. That's the first thing. Don't try to get away from struggle. Don't try to get away from hard things. Those are good for us. And now what I want to do is list out a few things that are more practical, that you can actually do that will help in your progression. The first thing is clearly identify the skill that you want to learn or the discipline that you want to work on, and then break that down into the most basic skills possible. Okay, so for example, let's think about angle flying. If you want to learn how to angle fly, don't just say, I'm going to start learning how to angle fly, and you go start trying to angle fly, jumping out of the plane and doing things. No, break it down into its little bitty pieces. Like tracking, you have to know how to track. Okay, well, what does it mean to track? It means that you have to be able to straighten out your legs very, very straight. Point your toes. You have to get used to flying with your hands by your hips. You have to be able to de-arch a little bit. You have to be able to keep your chin down a little bit and look with your eyes, not your head. All these little things And I know that sounds silly, and it maybe even sounds overly simplistic, but that's exactly what you want. If it's simple, that means you'll have a better chance of doing it. And when you break it down in those little pieces, you can actually work on those individual things, like exiting the plane for a belly angle fly. What does that mean? That means putting your head down and into the wind. It means feeling comfortable flying with your hands back here and steering with your shoulders. It means looking one way, but also flying that direction. All these little things, you're setting yourself up for success when you break it down in these little bitty pieces that you can practice. It's going to make it easier for you to critically evaluate your progress and then to determine what you need to keep working on. So if you're saying, okay, on this jump, I'm going to work on tracking. Your goal is angle flying, but you're going to start off with tracking. I'm going to try to keep my legs as straight as possible. I'm going to point my toes. I'm going to fly with my hands near my hips. Well, then you can watch the video and see if you're actually doing those things. You're going to say, I'm going to try to de-arch a little bit and use my chest to catch air. You look at your video, are you actually doing that? Now, the next thing that takes us to is the critical aspect of progression. You're going to be flying with coaches or instructors or other people, friends, and you're going to be watching videos and debriefing, getting feedback from other people. And I'm tempted to say don't take it personal, but the fact of the matter, the reality is that it is personal. It's about you. It's about what you're doing wrong or about what you need to change, what you need to do better at. And I want you to realize that that does not determine your value or worth as a person. Just because you're doing it wrong, because you haven't yet been able to do it correctly, that doesn't mean anything. If you can perform some arbitrarily specific body flight skill in the sky or not, that has nothing to do with your worth as a human being, or how likable you are, or even how talented you are. You know what it means? It just means that it's hard. That's all it means. And I say this because I've coached a lot of people, and sometimes when we're going over video or being critical, people, they take it personally, they get their feelings hurt, or I've even had people almost come to tears because they can't get something right. And that's okay. It's just hard. That's all it means. It's hard, it takes effort, and it takes time. Just like it was hard for everybody before you, and it's going to be hard for everyone after you. So yeah, fine, take it personal. It is personal. It's about you. But that's no different than anybody else. And as a matter of fact, you know, the fact that it is hard, the fact that it is a struggle, and you're still trying to do it. You're still trying. You're still working hard. You're still getting back out there. That actually says something about you. That says something pretty impressive, that you are willing to try, that you're willing to struggle. If a person only ever did things that were easy and that came simply and wasn't hard for them, I mean, that's not impressive at all. That doesn't say anything about it. If they only are willing to do easy things, never take on anything difficult, never attempt something that they have to work hard at or struggle to accomplish, that's not impressive. And that doesn't even that's not a good story. That's boring. You know, it's actually a little bit sad. Can you imagine going through life and never doing anything hard? That would be a really, really sad way to live. So the fact that it's hard, you're struggling and you're continuing to do it, that says something about your value. That says something about your worth. So keep doing it. Keep working hard. Keep struggling. Keep trying to learn. Keep improving. That's the point. The focus is progression, not perfection. Keep struggling. The next thing is video debriefing. I mentioned that a minute ago, but that's a big part of progression. Use the videos. When you're jumping with a coach or a friend and they're able to video you, take full advantage of those videos. You can learn so much from watching those videos, because so many times we think that we're doing something. We think that our legs are straight. We think that we're de-arched. We think whatever it is, and then we go back and look at the video and see actually we're not doing what we thought we were doing. So use videos to your advantage. Take advantage of the video debrief. Go over them over and over and pick them apart and learn them and grow from those videos. The other thing is get feedback and coaching from people who are already accomplished at that particular skill you're trying to learn or discipline. So find people who are already good at it and learn from them. But also take time to talk with and get feedback and dialogue with people who are also struggling to learn the same thing you're learning. So if you're trying to learn how to flat track better, or you're trying to learn how to angle fly, or you're trying to learn how to back fly, whatever it is, find other people who are trying to learn to do the same thing and debrief with them, talk with them. And that's going to do two things. First of all, it's going to normalize the struggle. You're going to realize, oh, it's hard for other people too. You're going to get to commiserate with them, and that's always encouraging and beneficial. The second thing that's going to do is sometimes you're going to accidentally uncover like progression hacks and techniques that the accomplished flyer, the coach, the people who are already proficient at a skill, these things are oblivious to them. Things that they have either forgotten or never learned or never struggled through, maybe because it came easy for them or somebody else taught them or whatever. But when you do that, when you talk with other people who are struggling to learn the same thing, you sometimes will identify little things that you can do that are hacks that'll help you in your progression. And then lastly, the last thing, and I've said this in a previous video as well, just take a break every once in a while. I know some skydivers, some people who are so almost obsessed with progressing and getting better all the time that they've lost the joy and the fun of skydiving. So sometimes just take a break from working on something. Take a break from progression and remember why we do this. We skydive because it's fun, because we love it and it's enjoyable. We get to be with our friends, we get to share the sky and have a good time. So that's the last thing. Take a break and enjoy it. I hope this was really beneficial to you. I hope it's going to help your progression, aid in your skill development, and maybe even take some of the pressure off of yourself and allow you to just enjoy the process. Enjoy what it means to struggle to get better. That's a good thing. If you want to learn more things like this, check out the Crave website, it's cravetofly.com. We've got some courses up there from different instructors. We're going to keep adding more and more courses, more content, and I think it's going to help you be a better skydiver. It's going to help you be safer and have more fun. And so get back out there, have a good time, and hopefully we'll see you in the sky. Crave, do more, be better.